Hey, what is up, sports fans? We are back here for another episode of Brotherly Love. I'm joined by my co-host, the big man himself, Mr. Lucifer Broughton, is joining us this afternoon. How are we
What's happening?
feeling? Are you keeping cool, brother?
Man, it is. I just picked my son up a little bit early from he does a little camp at the middle school,
Yeah,
but he's playing football this year and I went to pick him up early because camp doesn't know kids don't know to chill out and he's got conditioning today. But it's so hot they pushed the conditioning to 7 p.m. I'm like, come on, man. I need to be home at 7. I got dinner duties tonight. But it's 7 to 8:30. So I picked him up a little bit early today because it's hot down here. It is so hot down here. Oh man, I
man.
went to play
Listen,
golf the other day,
from the
and
time I called you, remember we were first trying to set this up, and you hit me back. It was like 2:45. From the time you messaged me to it was like 20 minutes. From the time it took me to get from the store back to the house, the ice cream was already melted, and it's like a 10 minute
oh
ride. It's
wow,
like what?
yeah,
I'm
man.
like,
I golfed
okay.
I golfed 9 holes the other day, and I swear. I'm like, and catch out there saying, man, I'm gonna go 18 in the morning and 18 in the afternoon. I was like, are you kidding me? How do you do 36 in all this heat, man? I can't even do 18, but hey, more power to you, bro.
Yeah, more power to everyone outside. More power to not only our professional athletes who do sports and things like that, but our everyday workers who are out in the elements. It is hot right now in the United
Yeah,
States. It is a hot summer
if
so
you're
far,
outside,
and
man,
we're only in the
yeah,
we're only in the middle of July.
man, if you've got a labor job outside, I feel for you. Stay hydrated, stay healthy, man. I mean, we got to work, and some people work outside, but it's a drain out there.
Especially
It's a
them
drain out there.
landscapers and construction workers.
Woo.
Power to you guys. If you guys need water, make sure you guys stop and get that stuff.
Yeah.
But let's change gears, man. It's been a minute since me and you caught back up. Obviously, life is rough times getting everything lined up. But
Hmm.
what are your thoughts, man? Here we are. The draft is over. Free agency is over. The dust is settled. Outside of a few, roster moves as a cut here, move here, small trade there. We pretty much know what these teams are going to look like. What are your thoughts on what the Eagles did, and what are you looking forward to right now?
I uh I actually was really happy with the draft. We all know that you got to wait for people to play, but we're at the point where we're just doing off-season talking. And
Exactly.
for us to get probably the top two of the top two corners. Well, I know Cooper is more of a hybrid type guy, but we got two guys who are generally considered first rounders, and we got them in what top 40 picks, two of the top 40 picks. I'm happy with that. Getting man, it's been a while. Getting Charter Jr. Uh, late in the draft, I thought that was a good pick. I mean, selfishly, yes, I wanted him here. I played with his dad. He played at Clemson. I really like the kid. I just, like I said, we talked about this a while back.
Hmm.
I know a few people, but I hadn't reached out. I just want to know why he dropped. I want to know the reasoning. I really, because there's always something out there. Well, he ran slow. Well, there was a medical issue. Well, there's this. But I watched him play in Power Five conference for the past 3 years, and the kid was. I sound like an old man saying the kid, man, Trotter can play. Trotter can play.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see if it translates, but man, I don't think the apple falls too far from the tree in that case. So I'm happy with that. In terms of the other moves, we'll see. I thought I didn't think we needed Saquon. I thought we could have. kept Swift, but I also thought
Luxury. It was a luxury being
we
able to do that.
right, but since we did so much in terms of drafting and other moves in the secondary, I guess I'm okay with it because I thought we could have used that on linebacker and defensive back. But, we did let Swift walk, and I guess they made a decision. They weren't going to move forward with Swift, and we got Barkley, and it's not a debilitating deal. It's not like we're paying him $25 million a year. He, I meant Barkley. But Barkley has not been a healthy guy for a lot. Of course, now he's playing behind the best. He'll be playing behind the best line he's ever played behind. But a new offense again for Jalen Hurts. So that's another thing. Uh, Swift could have put up huge numbers last year if we consistently ran the ball. I thought. I thought. I didn't think that the running back was an issue, but how he swings, man, and if he goes and gets what he wants, and I'm not disappointed that we have Saquon Barkley on our team. I just thought defensively we had a lot of holes to fill. Now swapping out Hassan for Huff, we'll see how that works out. But right now it looks like a good move for us because we got a younger guy at a doable deal, and the Jets got a guy who wants more money, who's getting ready to hit 30. So who still hasn't reported. So we'll see.
Yeah, it looks like we
Uh,
might have dodged a bullet there. It looks like we might have dodged a bullet there, but like I said, I agree with you. You're where Hassan has that questionable thing where he's hitting that certain age. He wants to be paid as one of the top three edge rushers in the league. Wants to be paid $20+ million a year, and he hasn't
I
reported
don't
for camp
blame
for
him.
whatever.
I don't
Yeah,
blame
he's
him for
earned it.
trying
He
to
has earned it. I'm
leverage
not going to take that away
leverage
from
his
him.
play. Yeah, that's the only way to get paid. You got to leverage your play. But I don't know if they're not going to make a deal if he's not going to come to camp. So that's no longer our problem as
Yeah,
Philadelphia
exactly.
Eagles.
Not
I want
not our
Hassan to do
monkey, not our
well though.
circus anymore.
I want
But
Hassan to do well. But That's so funny. That quote you just made, I'm listening to an audiobook and someone just said that and I was like, I hadn't heard that before. Like maybe
not
I'm
my monkey, not my
sheltered.
circus.
Right. That's funny. I sat in the car and I
And
was
it's
like,
not
wait.
like, listen, I love Hassan. I hope he gets paid. I hope he does good in New York. Just not when he plays against us. But I
Mhm.
mean, other than that, like it's one of these things where you know I'm with you on just about everything you said there. Saquon was a fun luxury that we were able to do. I think he's gonna. I think where he helps more is some of that leadership in the locker room on that side of the ball. When you lose a guy like Kelsey, you need it. You need a good locker room guy, a good team guy. Not sitting there saying that DeAndre Swift wasn't, but we all know Saquon is already a Walter Payton man of the year. He's been one of the when healthy one of the top three running backs in the league over the past handful of years. But
Yeah,
like you already said, he's
we'll
got the
see.
line now. I
We'll,
like. What was that, brother?
yeah, I think that's a good point. He brings a good dynamic to the locker room. Sometimes you bring guys in and they're divas, and they bring that to the locker room. Not that that's necessarily they're going to tear up a locker room, but when you're losing Kelsey, who's been there for 700 years, and then you bring in a guy with a really good attitude and who seems to be a really good team guy, that's a plus, especially if he can play. You know what I'm saying? That's a plus. Um, that's a good point. Like I don't disagree with that even a little bit. That makes sense. Uh, on the defensive side of the ball, though, we did sign Devin White, right?
Yeah, I think, but I think not only
But
did is fun with me because I think he's a guy that is so selfless. He's gonna he's gonna bring in that N'Kobe Dean. He's gonna bring in Trot Jr. and they're all gonna sit down there and devise ways for that defense to be the best it can be.
I just I just wish we would go out and draft a linebacker high, or pay a guy who's going to be here for a few years and stop putting band-aids on the position year after year after year after year. We continue to put a band-aid on that position as if it doesn't matter. And last year it reared its ugly head, and
Yeah, but this
we
year we
just
don't
weren't good
have
at the
a
position.
Nicholas Morrow back there. Somebody like that. And
Nicholas Morrow isn't the problem. The problem
no,
isn't
I
Nicholas
know.
Morrow. The problem is band-aids every year, and we did the same thing this year. This is another band-aid. This is a one-year deal. We signed another guy to a 1 or 2 year deal. These aren't. We're not going out and signing one of the top five linebackers available. We're not drafting a linebacker high. As high as I am on Trotter, we don't know. I don't know why he fell. I mean, we drafted N'Kobe in the third round. He fell in the draft for a reason: smallish, injured, and here's what's happening. We're continuing to put band-aids on that position. I know we build up front. I love the fact that we will spend money on our defensive line, and because we think if we have that squared away, we don't have to do so much at linebacker, but it proved last year you got to be better, especially if the rest of that back end isn't that great. Now we did a lot of things to the back end.
Yeah,
We drafted two guys in the top 40. We brought back C.J. Gardner Johnson. Uh, Darius stayed for one more year. It looks like he might be on his last year. He can still play. Then Bradford. We don't know what we're going to do with him. Looks like
it might be a
he's
trade bait
still
for a
here.
pick.
Yeah, I don't know how much we're going to be able to get for him because of his salary, but that's
You
fine.
get a
Like
fourth or a sixth. You get a fourth or a sixth.
I don't know where that's coming from, a fourth or sixth.
I was just sitting there and just generalizing off the top
That's
of my head.
random.
But yeah,
That's random, but I'm just saying I don't know how much you're going to get for someone who people already know that you kind of don't want anymore, and who makes top salary. I wouldn't want to give up anything for him. I would just wait for you to cut him. So I wouldn't give up a fourth if I'm sitting here like, you got all these guys, you're gonna eventually release him. I'm not giving you a fourth for him. That's how I'm thinking on somebody else's team, unless you can get someone in Arizona who has a relationship with him, their head coach, and maybe they want to do something, or whatever, or maybe you swap players with higher salaries, and maybe we say, all right, we'll take a linebacker, we'll take whatever if you take him. That typically doesn't happen in the NFL, not a lot of significance in dumping a guy who's of value, but we'll see about that. Who knows? And the
yeah,
last thing to touch on, back to the offensive side, is Jalen. Is Jalen going to do in another offense again? Is Jalen going to look like he looked in 2022, or is he going to look like he looked in 2023, where he looked pedestrian? He looked like he was hurting. It hasn't come out that he was hurt or had a surgery or whatever. He looked like he was hurting. Uh, so what is he going to do? He's a $40 million guy or whatever he is now, and we need him to be a star. So what are we going to get out of Jalen this year? And are we ever going to get a third receiver or someone that decides to stay in football? We keep getting these guys who retire like after 2 days. Um, so who knows, bro?
apparently the kid who's our one of our sixth round picks or fifth round picks. He's like 6'7" or something like that. He's the kid that's looking really good at camp. So everyone's
Look,
telling us to keep
man.
our eye on
Look,
that. But
look,
how
look.
often does one of those
I
late end wide receivers turn into anything?
I led the NFL in receiving in the preseason in '98. Uh, the off, is, I mean, preseason and off season, they help you get a glimpse, but when we'll know when the real lights come
Snaps
on,
come
you
in.
know.
Yep. But I agree with
So
you. I still think I think you need to address your slot or third, fourth wide receiver. It's great having AJ and Devontae. We've had them together the last few years. It's a good mix. You still have to have that third component because a lot of teams in the NFL do got cornerbacks that can lock your one and two down. So you need to give options to Jalen, especially when he's going to be yet again struggling to kind of get what's going on this new offense. Obviously, a whole lot's going to fall on Jalen and Kellen Moore being able to get on the same page this season. I think is going to determine the long term success. But I mean, I think you have to. That's probably the only thing you could say. You don't know what Cam Jurgens going to do at center. You don't know what exactly is going to be at your right guard. You did sign Matt Hennessy. You did steal the big kid from the Jets. Apparently, he's saying he's trying to work into the guard, and you still do have a good situation with your rotation with Steele and things like that. You don't know what's going to become of that, but I still think as far as offense, it's basically going to be determined the relationship between Nick, Kellen Moore, and Jalen Hurts is if this team's going to stay where they were last year. Being really good in some spots, but having trouble keep a team off the board and keeping the offense going the way you should, and be a 10-11 win team that may or not win a playoff game or go for a run, or will this team turn back into the team we've seen a few years ago that was in a slugfest with the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl? We don't know. We'll see what happens as we're coming forward. I liked the draft. Some of the kids that they got in the later rounds. The kid from Michigan is the guard. I think is a guy that'll be somebody on this team in a few years. We don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Will those high picks in the back end fill those holes that were obviously hurting this defense? These are all questions that are going to have to answered by Vic Fangio and the guys on that defense. I think we're going to see a pissed off Eagles group. I don't think they were happy with how it ended last year. Having Jason Kelsey, retire on a bunch of bad losses, I think is a taste in their mouth. I don't think that they don't want to ever feel again. They still have to go out there and prove it, but I like the moves they made. I like what Howie did with what he had. Not only made sure you got AJ taken care of, made sure you got Jalen taken care of, made sure you took care of the core of what this offense has been and what it's going to be over the next 5 years or so. So I like
yeah,
some of those things. The question is, if can you fix the things that were making this supercharged team break down last year. If you could fix that, then we very well may have what we saw in 2022.
well, I tell you this supercharged. If the supercharged machine has a bad driver, then it doesn't matter. And I don't know if we can fix anything. I don't know. I'm not saying he is. I think he's part of the problem. Is the driver. The head
Now,
coach
now, when we're saying that,
is
is it the quarterback on the field, or is it the coach?
the driver, the person that's in charge of this thing is the head coach. I think a lot of our problems stem from him last year, and that's why he's a lame duck coach right now. He doesn't have an extension. He's coaching for his job, and I think
Kellen
that's
Moore is
part
coaching
of.
for his job. Kellen Moore
No,
is coaching to save Nick Sirianni right now. Is
no,
he not?
I mean, no. Nick Sirianni is coaching for his job. I mean, the whole Kellen Moore, whoever you bring in that coordinator, whatever. When you have a head coach who doesn't have an extension going into the last part of his deal, he's coaching for his job. Kellen Moore isn't coaching for his job. If Moore fails, that's Nick Sirianni's hire.
Yeah, I
That's
know. That's what I'm
his.
saying. Kellen Moore is here to save the ship right.
He is not his savior. If Kellen, if we didn't shit the bed on defense last year, they would have kept that offensive coordinator because Nick didn't have much of a problem with him, and but the defense completely fell apart. The whole team fell apart, and the team fell apart. That starts at the top of it. It's not Kellen Moore. It's not Vic Fangio. Because just like I said about the linebackers, these are the different guys from who we had last year. And who's at the top? Nick. Nick is the one being brash. Nick is the one acting like a cheerleader. Nick is the one acting like a fan. It's not going to be the coordinators who fix the locker room, who leads the locker room. The guys are either going to play for their head coach or not, or they're going to see right through the bullshit. And I wonder if he's the guy, man. I just wonder if he's the guy. Maybe he makes some changes within himself. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. Nick seems like a nice guy at times. But sometimes he seems. You listen to him talk, and it's like
Well, I
you
mean,
know.
Jalen
I
didn't do him any favors in that press conference. What was it last week?
Yes, I mean we talked about this that was 2 months ago. And that's the problem. If you're that proves to me that I'm right, that he's not believed in. That means the guys just don't believe in him. That like I'm not in that locker room. I haven't heard any stories. I'm not saying anything concrete. It's just my opinion from afar. It's like you don't creep up in complimenting a guy who you believe in. You jump right out. Now I know Jalen is probably like he's a guy who's like stop asking me these questions. You asking me over and over and over and over and over and over. That could be a part of it too. But it's like my head coach is Nick Sirianni. He acts like a cheerleader sometimes. I mean, I know he probably wants to say that. Like,
I
and
think
I
it's
know
kind of a
I'm
mix of
sounding
both.
like
What
I'm
you're saying.
shitting on Nick.
I think it's a mix of he's getting sick of like the Philadelphia media just beating on this drum over and over, and he's just done with it. Like he's just so exhausted by it. He's just like just whatever about it. But also, I think that from that reaction too is that there is some truth to it. That maybe not all or
He's a
most, but maybe.
quarterback, man. He's a
But
quarterback making 40-50 million dollars a year. Who your part of your job is dealing with the media beating it over your head. And if that's your answer, that's your real answer. It's not because he's sick of it. It's because that's his answer. He doesn't have to be fake. I know people want him to not give that answer. I think that's his real answer. I
then you
think
have
that's his real answer, and I think
the people
that's part.
attacking Jalen. Well, he's not this and he's not that, and
And that's fine because you're on the field, and if you're not doing your job, we can easily see that, and we're gonna say it. We don't know what's happening in that locker room. We don't know the whispers. We don't know how Nick is. We and when you hear a quarterback talks like that, it gives you a little bit of glimpses of what's going on with that, and maybe it's just between between them. Maybe it's just their relationship. Who knows? He gets paid a lot of money to answer these questions. And if he's answering it, excuse me, that way, we're not long for Nick, man. I don't know if we're if Nick doesn't go far in the playoffs this year, he's gone.
I agree. And we're not just talking divisional round. You need to be NFC Championship, Super Bowl.
If Nick doesn't go far in the playoffs, we can write this down. What's the date?
the
Today is the ninth. It's
ninth,
four
the ninth of
o'clock.
July.
Watch now, like watch. I'm not wanting this. I'm not. I'm not wishing. I I think Nick is playing. You don't have a lame duck coach. Same thing in Dallas. That coach doesn't have an extension.
The coach don't
If
have
they don't
extension and
do
the
it,
quarterback.
if they don't do any, but we're talking coaching. A lot of times quarterbacks don't have extensions and they get done. That's fine. You can franchise them if you don't have a replacement. That's fine. Head coaches, head coaches don't go into final seasons without deals. That means you're coaching this year for an extension. That means whatever happens this year, we're going to decide. That's not saying you've built up enough where we'll get this done. We're saying we're making our mind up based on what you do just this year. Even if you won a championship 2 years ago, we're saying we don't have an extension and we're basing it on just this year. Nick is coaching for his job. Mike McCarthy is coaching for his job. And it's going to be interesting to see because those are the last two. Those teams won the division the past 2 years, um, but they both faltered in the playoffs last year. The Eagles. I don't. I wish we had just missed the playoffs. Like God, I wasted my
That
time and
was
money to go to
that
Tampa
was
to watch us get
that
the
was
hell
ugly,
beat out of
man.
them. And we didn't have AJ. It was bad. But yeah, I love my Eagles. I think we're going to make a bounce back. I think we're going to have a bounce back.
Who
But
are
I
you
can tell
expecting to
you that
answer the bell this year? Who are you expecting to just be like, okay, they're back?
that's. I mean, that's. I don't know. That sounds like a huge cliche type answer, right? Uh, I think the team is embarrassed by how the season ended last year. And I think the
I think they're
leaders on that team, the veteran leaders on that team, are going to have feet and asses. And the team is going there. I know one thing: we're not going to lose because of effort. We're not going to lose because of that. Vic is a veteran, strong coordinator who's going to have the defense playing properly. They're not going to just be wide open people running around the field like we had last year in instances. So, uh, are we going to run the ball? Will we run the ball? And all? There are a lot of things that we were all frustrated with last year, and I knew that at the beginning. I hate know-it-alls, right? I'm not a know-it-all, but in the beginning of the season, I was like, man, we're resilient. I'm happy that we're getting wins, but look at these games. Look at them. Look at them. We could have
letting
lost
people
so
walk
many
right
more
back into it.
games.
You know,
We let everybody walk right back into it. It's like, all right, we're running a 100-yard dash. I get to 80, I'm cruising. That's how every game was. That's how every game was. So I don't know if there's
it was
a
like
guy in
it
particular.
was.
I think the veterans are going to be pissed off. And I love it. The veterans are going to be pissed off and ready to go out there and get some get back, man. We need some get back. We ended that
It should
season
be
last year
every
badly,
every
man.
Eagle that was on this team last year. You should be thinking about this as this is the revenge tour. It's like whatever happened at the end of last year. Like we want to, we're trying to run that back from this point. Like we're trying to hit the
I
reset button, right?
I
On the
think
game
I
system,
think
trying to run it
they're
back,
going to
right?
be pissed off at how last year ended, and I think they should flush last year down the toilet as well. I I don't think that we like don't take last year into next season. Be pissed off about how it ended, but flush it. We're done with it. Flush it. Let's go. We don't have anything to carry from that. We don't have a division championship. We don't have an NFC championship. We were second place all over the place last year.
Mhm.
So we weren't good enough. Be pissed off, flush it, and move to next year and kick someone's ass.
Um, to kind of go into my one, my expectations is I think Saquon's going to have a big impact on this offense one way or another. I think we will get a clean season from him. I do think we're going to see a little bit more of the impact in the receiving game too. We're not just going to see those disgusting bubble screens to our running backs that me and you wanted to freaking throw bricks at the at the TV every time we seen one.
Mm.
I don't think
Boy,
we're going to see
boy,
a whole
boy,
lot of
boy.
that, but I think that's where I think Saquon is going to have the biggest wow factor. Big difference from last year's team to this year's team is kind of that aspect. I already expect AJ and Devontae to get theirs and have
Listen,
about 1,000 yards receiving and close to 10
I
touchdowns apiece. Go ahead, brother.
I I am relieved, like what you just said. I am relieved that we're not running the same offense anymore. I'm relieved. As good as we were 2 years ago with the similar offense, we didn't run the same. It wasn't the same. We were. Oh man, see, that's why I want to flush last year. It's making me pissed off all over again.
That feeling right
Like
there.
it was tough, 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 man.
Yeah, it
Um,
definitely was. But like I said, I mean, that's one of the things I'm looking forward to. Interesting to see how the offensive line looks without a Jason Kelsey. I think with the guys they did that it'll be seamless. My expectations on that defense is I think the guys in the middle are going to eat. I think you're going to see a motivated Jordan Davis. You're going to see a motivated Jalen Carter. Milton Williams is gonna look like like how he has the past few years, where he's had like some of the I think PPF had him rated as like one of the what gets got he has the most hurries at that position for over the last handful last season, which is great. Hopefully, he gets home more this year, especially with Fletch being gone. But you got BG's retirement tour coming up. My thing is how do you infuse the young guys in the back end of that defense to kind of fix something that was a a definite wound that teams were continually
well,
ripping open on
what
us
what
game
what
after
they
game.
did is they changed everything. They did not carry over and bring someone in from the staff up. They hired
Nope,
someone from
nope,
outside
yeah,
to come and change this damn thing.
yeah,
Okay. Um, we did some necessary things last year. Coordinator, both coordinators out. I swear, I thought the head coach needed to be gone. I know I've said it time and time again. I thought Nick needed to be gone, but he earned some leeway by taking the damn team to the championship, to the freaking Super Bowl. He earned some leeway.
yeah.
Let's give him. He earned that. Not give him. He earned that. He earned some leeway. So let's see if Nick can do something with his second chance,
Yeah,
right?
he lost the
Because
reins.
I,
He's got
I
to
I
he's got
I
to right the
say
ship
this
here.
is a second chance because Lurie was mum on that for a little while. Like we were like,
Until they
if
had their
let
exit
me
press
tell you
conference.
something. Let me tell you something. I think if Belichick had had any interest in the Eagles' job, Nick would have been gone.
I agree.
That's my opinion.
I agree.
Opinion. I haven't heard anything. Again, I talked to a few people here or there. I haven't heard anything. But I think if Bill had any interest,
I don't. I think he wanted the year off regardless. I think,
possible.
regardless of what anyone says, I think he wanted the year off. He didn't find a situation that piqued his interest with what he wanted and what he wanted to do moving forward. I think like we don't because also we all know Bill wasn't just going to take any job whoever offered him like a crazy, he
Yeah,
wasn't
but
going to he
The
wasn't going
Eagles
back to Cleveland.
organization, we're not just any job. We have
Yeah,
an
exactly.
owner who's been there forever. We have an owner
They
who's
and they have somewhat of a
out of the way as well. Um, we have a team that has a ton of talent. I thought this would be something he might be interested in, but what we do have is a GM who makes decisions, and Bill wants to make a lot more decisions. So
I
who
think
the
that's
hell
what it
knows,
is.
man?
We weren't
Well,
gonna
right
let
now
we
he's
weren't gonna
gallivanting around with a like looks like a hot 25-year-old. So
Yo,
let
I,
Bill do
I
his
I would
thing.
feel some type of way. I'm just saying, like he's a grown man. Like why are people like ripping this girl apart because her and Bill are having a relationship? Like I get it. She's
Listen, man,
barely 30. I get it.
opinions.
But
We
why are
we
we
have
tormenting Bill? Why are we
we're in the
tormenting this
we're in
girl?
the
Man, it's crazy,
because we're in the age of social media where everyone has a platform. People always have opinions. Now they get to tell the world their opinions. We're sitting on here because of technology, telling the world our opinions about the Eagles. That's what the world is now. Everyone has their opinion on everything, and some of it is annoying, and you want to just type STFU on everything. But you just glaze by it. Now, my daughter is 21. I would not want an old ass Bill date my daughter, but whatever floats her boat, man. Let Bill do whatever the hell he wants to do.
right?
He's having a midlife crisis, all that stuff.
End of life
They look,
crisis, whatever.
they,
I think
end of
he's
life.
past the midlife crisis.
They look happy. Shit, Bill's gonna live until he's
Exactly. Like that's
140.
my thing. Like, dude,
Yeah,
unless like she's barely 21, like
they look happy.
exactly. Like that's why I have the
I'm
issue.
I'm gonna stay in my lane. My lane is over here, bro,
Exactly.
and it's slow.
Exactly.
It's slow. Um,
Now to switch gears here, obviously I want to get your thoughts on the baseball season. Since
oh wow.
me and you were polar opposites when it comes to this. I bleed red. You you're the Braves fan, and we got a lot to discuss. Philly's got an early lead right now. We're about to hit the All-Star break. I think what 6 games or something.
No, it's more than six. It was nine when when we started the series, and we only got one game. So and we won last night, so it's probably seven and a half. Uh, and barring a collapse, we're not going to catch Philadelphia. Philadelphia is probably the best team in baseball right now. I mean, and the Braves, the Braves, we have lost.
You lost Acuna Jr. for the season.
We
That's
lost.
big, man.
We started off by losing Strider for the season, and our top pitcher. There, we lost Acuna Jr. for the season, and Ronald wasn't hitting well, anyways. We were looking forward to him getting better, but then now Michael Harris is out, but not for too long. Um, we are not. We're just okay. Put it like this. Here's to show you what a difference a year makes in terms of production with everyone else. Last season, we had seven All Stars. This season, we have three All Stars. That's not the point. Isn't that
I think we flip
no?
flop.
Hold on.
Go
Let me
ahead.
finish. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Last season, we had seven All Stars. Okay, or seven or six. This year, we had three, and people will be like, "Oh man, that's four less than you had last year, right?" Guess what? It's three people who made the All Star team this year didn't make it last year. So it's a completely, it's almost like seven less. Seven guys that made the All Star team last year are not All Stars this year. We have three completely different All Stars. That shows you how we, everyone is playing a lot worse than last year was historic in terms of hitting the ball. We hit everything. We hit everything last year. Everyone hit everything last year until the playoffs came around, which happens. Uh, um, but this year we have three completely new All Stars from last year. That's amazing, and that shows. The crazy thing about it, if the Phillies weren't so piping hot, we would be on a down year and still be winning the division. So me being annoyed, like, I'm a Braves fan. I want to win the division and win the World Series every year. Who the hell doesn't? But then I take a step back and go, we're not playing that great. We're still 7.5 game backs. Barring a collapse, we won't catch the Phillies, but we'll be in the playoffs. And if we start to get some bats turned around, we could be a problem in the playoffs. But this is the year that we finally dropped the division. I don't know what we've won 10 straight. I don't know, something like that.
Y'all
But
killed us. I mean,
but on the flip side, what the Phillies have done is continuity. Not a lot of no season-ending injuries. I know you guys have a couple guys out now, but
yeah.
they're not out for long. But your pitching staff, and just like we did, our back end guys are the guys who we weren't expecting to be our aces. That's we've got
Rangers
all
Suarez was
star.
probably
We've
one of the
got
main
all
reasons.
stars from guys who weren't supposed to be our aces. Same with Philly. You got Suarez and everybody else is cooking, and then Trey Turner is playing like they thought. I mean, he had a tough start last year. He ended the season really well,
Yeah.
but he's cooking. He's been cooking the entire season this year. So. Uh, we know how baseball is, though. You get in a damn 7 game series.
It's the greatest marathon that we have in the four major sports is the baseball season.
It's
You
long.
know, that's why like I'm not sitting there pumping my chest out like, oh, we got 6 games. Like, listen, that
Like
means
the
nothing.
Mets last
Y'all
year.
y'all had 7 on us about this time last year. It doesn't
Yeah,
mean anything. We literally flipped roles if you haven't looked at it. As you were talking about, you guys had seven last year. Well, we have 7 this year. We had 3 last year. You have 3 this year. It's literally
yeah,
we've reversed roles, and it
yeah, and
means nothing unless you win in October. We
you
could
gotta
we could
win.
win
You gotta win
110
in
games. It
October,
means nothing if you win it if you don't do anything when October comes around.
and that's how we were last year. We spent the whole season winning, winning, winning. And I'm gonna tell you, I hate the format the winning team sits out. That did nothing for us. That hurt us last year. That hurt us 2 years in a row. No excuses. You got to go win the game. But
Yeah,
having that time off and last year we even tried to
have like the simulated games.
simulate it.
Yeah,
It's not the same. And you get out there and it's like now you got to go against somebody who's red hot too. Um, so we'll see, man.
I agree. I don't think like there should be some type of reward, but I don't
they,
know. Like
they, they,
if you guys
I don't know. I don't know what it
if you
is. I
guys end
don't
the
know what it
season on
is.
September 30th, right, and then you're not playing until October 10th, that's a problem.
Dude, and then like even last year, we won a division with a lot of with games left. So it was like, what do we do? What are we gonna do here? Look, no excuses. That's not
Yeah,
an
you.
excuse, but
But that's
it's
also
a
what I
reality.
what
But
why I
it's
love
not only
baseball.
the Braves that were affected. It wasn't only the Braves that were affected with that
Oh
either.
yeah, And it's
So
not just this season. It's not we're just
it's
talking about
not
this.
just this season.
I
Like,
don't like the
and
format.
I don't like talking about it because it affected us negatively the last 2 years. And people are like, "Oh, you're just making excuses because it's your team." No, that's not how I feel about it. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I'll say it if we flip the table on you guys this year and it happens, and I'll say it again. It's not right for the Phillies to have freaking 10 days
I
off
think
chilling.
if we're gonna put two wild card teams in, we should add a third team for the bye team to kind of still have a
I don't,
game.
I don't know how you do it. I don't know. I
You have
don't
to
know how
figure
you
something
fix it.
out.
You do. I don't know how you
I think
fix
you
it.
have like you make a third wild card spot where the the top seed kind of plays the worst wild card.
Now you punish the top seed for being the top seed again by making them play a wild card team after. So that's not a to me that's not a good fix. But I don't know what is. I uh, I I don't know. And I don't want to
I'm
be the
with you
guy
that they need to figure something out to kind of work it around where you know
where it works for everybody. So who the heck knows?
we're not the billionaires making these decisions. So, but
Yeah.
you know, so far, haven't had any big major injuries. It's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out after the All Star game, the trade deadline, and things of that nature. So we
Yeah,
got a
so
lot of baseball
that's
still to play.
so our GM got he makes moves. So we'll see. I don't know what we have, we're going to give up. I know Matt, and another thing, Max Fried is a free agent at the end of the year. The Braves don't we don't do a lot of high payrolls, man. So
I know, and that's what I was thinking. Do you guys sell, regardless of only being?
we won't sell. Braves won't sell.
So you think your guys are going to wind up just
He
be
he
all in the season. If he walks, he walks.
he if he walks, he walks. Braves aren't going to sell.
Kind
Uh,
of like what we did with um when we knew we were going to bring Bryson and knew Reese Hoskins was going to walk. Philly guy, everyone still loves him. He's having
yeah,
fun
I
down there
mean,
in Milwaukee this season, but you knew that was a real possibility he
yeah,
was going to leave.
yeah. I think the Brave. I think uh, we're gonna win 90 something games, so we're not going to be selling. If someone wants to blow us out of
No,
the
like if
water,
somebody like yeah, if you get if
that
somebody's
now
like, hey,
that's a
we need a
different
big
story.
arm, but
That's not selling. That's okay. I'm going to capitalize on someone who's leaving and maybe get an arm back. But
get an arm back, get a
if we want to
slot
do
some prospects or
anything,
something.
if we want to do anything in the playoffs, we need Max. But yeah, man. On that note, I've got to roll. I got
Yeah, I was about to say
4:30.
we're bad at the end of our time. I knew we were
Yeah.
bad there. Anything you want to add before we put a bow on this one, brother?
Nah, man. Just enjoy. Just everybody enjoy your summer and be wary of the heat, man.
Yeah, man. Everyone keep cool as best as you can. Enjoy your sports with your friends and loved ones in the best way possible. Keep cool, and obviously, we'll be back on in here talking some more nonsense in the coming weeks. We are officially 2 months away before we get our first dose of actual football. So yeah, baseball is gonna kind of be the gist of our tops, unless we have some NFL news coming on. Obviously, us here in Philly, we can talk trash on the current state of Philadelphia of sports talk radio any day of the week, considering some of the stuff that they put out sometimes. But we're not Captain Negatives over here. We already see all the stuff going on. We're a little bit different pace. Enjoyed your insight today, Luther. Looking forward to catching back up with you in the coming weeks. Other than that, I think I'll put an end on this one.
All right, now take it easy.
Uh, and looking forward to catching up with you again soon, brother.
All right, peace.